What's up, gamers? I'm Jordan Hill.
And my name's Andrew Taylor, and today we're going to take a look at my review of Blaster Master Zero. Blaster Master Zero. It's good, check it out. Masterfully blasting onto Nintendo Switch and 3DS in 2017, and then, more importantly to me, onto Steam in 2019, Blaster Master Zero breathes new life into an old NES classic. Gaming geezers will remember Blaster Master on NES as that charming but brutally difficult Metroidvania adventure with no save points or password system from 1988. I'm sure this game alone prompted many smashed controllers and fist-sized drywall holes. The story of Blaster Master Zero is very similar to the original, with some fun modern flair. In the original, the story follows a boy named Jason, whose pet frog Fred got tired of living in a fishbowl and decided to yeet himself out the door and take a bite out of some radioactive materials strangely located in Jason's backyard. Upon doing so, he grew super big and caved the earth in. Jason falls in with Fred, finds a kick-ass tank, and gets inside to go find his friend. In Blaster Master Zero, there's all this backplot on how nuclear war created a new ice age on Earth, and for hundreds of years, humans lived underground until eventually reclaiming the surface and terraforming nature, and blah, 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 blah. At some point, a meteor hits Earth, and apparently no one noticed and forgot about it. Fast forward a few hundred years to when Earth is restored, Dr. Jason discovers this frog-like creature he names Fred, and I'm sorry, but the resemblance to Froggy from Sonic Adventure is uncanny to me.
Grab it.
Huh? Is that a hit?
Anyway, Fred escapes, finds this black hole in the ground, and promptly yeets himself into oblivion. Dr. Jason follows and also finds a super rad tank. Jason must get inside and use it to explore this world humanity forgot and fight against mutants. Soon after, you meet a girl named Eve, and she has amnesia, and that kind of begins the rest of the story that's going to develop. I thought the story was fun and engaging without being too much, but I'm not going to explain it all here. It's good. Taking control of the tank known as Sophia 3, you begin your quest. Blaster Master does a pretty great job of introducing new mechanics. This first area really tells you everything that you need to know. Enemies are tough but manageable if you pay attention. The environment affects Sophia like water. In some places you just can't seem to get to may eventually be accessible. At first, all Sophia can do is jump, move, and shoot. But just like in any other Metroidvania game, that changes soon as you find new upgrades. One thing that really set Blaster Master aside from other titles of the time was that you can actually exit Sophia and enter dungeons on foot. When you do that, the perspective changes to an overhead view of Jason as you battle mutants and search for new gear and items. I won't go through every single difference between this and the original, but most of the things that made that first game so cryptic and difficult are mostly remedied in this version. One of my earliest and formative gaming memories was being allowed to stay up a little late when I was a kid on New Year's Eve for a family party. Instead of hanging out and socializing with everyone else, my older cousin set up an NES in another room and was kind enough to let his annoying kid cousin, me, watch him suffer through trying to beat Blaster Master. I distinctly remember him making hand-drawn maps and struggling to not put his foot through the TV. I asked him about the experience recently, and he said even with cheats, knowing the sequences of levels, using a Game Genie and a turbo controller, that game is still insanely hard. His frustration only multiplied as I told him this new version has a convenient map that shows you the location of most bosses and items, and how there's no real game overs or lives, in addition to many other quality of life improvements. Even still, that doesn't make this game a pushover. The difficulty is pretty fair while getting more tough towards the end as you'd expect, but I did run into this one infuriating part here, where you have to go on foot, climb up this ladder, jump off the cliff, and try to catch the ladder below. If you undershoot it, you land in the water. If you overshoot it, you die. This doesn't seem that difficult, but catching the ladder mid-jump is weirdly hard. As you can see, I'm trying to practice right here, and even still, I can't do it. Maybe there's an alternate route, or I'm just terrible at this game, but this took me way too many tries. Though when I did finally get it, I felt triumphant, and I was excited to see what the next part of the game was. If you're familiar at all with Mega Man Zero, a game I reviewed in the past, you'll find this game does strike a bit of a resemblance. It's because they were both developed by Inti Creates, a team of former Capcom workers responsible for games like Gunvolt and Dragon Marked for Death. Considering how much I liked Mega Man Zero and Blaster Master Zero, I think I might check out this company's other titles. I think their art style is pretty cool and appealing. But they keep posting this character from the upcoming Blaster Master Zero 3, and I'm a bit concerned. Anyway, I think Blaster Master is cool and good. It feels true to the original, but with modern conveniences that help prevent you from pulling your hair out. It could be a fun title to go through if you remember never being able to beat the original back in the day, or if you're just looking for a Metroidvania-style romp.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Pretty cool game.
I was like, what are we doing?
we're talking about the game review that we just watched. That
Yes.
me playing Blaster Master Zero. And Jordan Hill, I have one question for you.
What's that?
Have you ever played Blaster Master Zero?
No, in fact, the only exposure I have to it is the Stevie Wonder hit song inspired by the game Master Blaster.
Oh, I remember.
But no, actually, I have no context of this game at all.
I always forget that Stevie did that track, which was pretty good too. What kind of prompted this? I think I probably saw some sort of advertisement for the game, saying that it was like a remake. And I remembered, I talked about it in the video, but I remember playing that with my cousin Jeremy, who shout out to my cousin Jeremy. I remember staying up late and watching him play, and he was like literally going to destroy it. Like he wanted to break the TV. It was super hard. And every now and then, I want to ask you this, every now and then I get that urge to play like a real hard game and kind of earn like a notch on my gaming belt, you know what I mean? And I decided I want to maybe do this with Blaster Master, but then I watched a couple videos about how hard it actually is, and I was like, fuck this. I'm gonna play the remake. Do you have any games where you're just like Ninja Gaiden or Gaiden, where you're like, I gotta go back, I gotta earn my gaming stripes?
It's been a minute for me because as I've grown older, I found that I don't like putting myself through that stress on purpose, honestly.
Yeah.
But no, it's been probably the last game I did that on was BioShock Infinite. And I remember because I played through that game about twice, and then they had the 1999 mode, I believe, or 1989 mode, where there's no respawns, you only have a certain amount of actual lives that you have before you have to completely restart the game.
Yeah.
And that was a challenge, but it brought me back to playing Star Fox on the Super Nintendo. Okay. And I remember going through that over and over and over again, and admittedly I was a small boy, but I could not beat that game, and still to this day have a hard time trying to get through it.
I feel like the Super Nintendo one is definitely harder than the 64, than the N64 Star Fox. But yeah, it can be kind of like rewarding to go back to those games that you really struggled with as a kid, and then you just blast through them like. Oh,
absolutely! No, I did that with Chrono Trigger, if I remember right. You were with me when we were younger.
That was fun. But yeah, this was kind of one of those titles for me, and man, it's just like, it's one of those ones where it's hard to talk about. It just kind of improved in all ways, and it makes you think about like a lot of the difficulty in that game and older games kind of around that genre, I mean, in that generation. A lot of it was like, I don't want to say artificial difficulty, but a lot of it came from just not having those same quality of life improvements that we have now, as far as like more checkpoints. So it introduces this discussion of like how much is too much, what is too easy, talking about assist modes in games that we have now, which we've all made use of at this point, especially to do this show. It really helps out in doing, of course, I've played our other show. But yeah, it's good. It's one of those games, I don't know what to say about it. Does it look like a fun game to you?
I thought it looked like a lot of fun. It looks like a fun little side scroller that you could dump a few hours into, and it looks like it's got a pretty solid challenge to it.
It definitely still has a little bit of that edge. Like there's some moments where like disregarding the ladder sequence, which I don't understand what was going on there. Maybe that was my fault. But there were some moments where I was like, wow, this boss fight is definitely hard. And this last thing I want to talk about is, in this game in particular, I'm struggling to remember exactly how the mechanic worked, but it was like, the longer you go without getting hit, you can pick up more power-ups that like make you more and more powerful.
They stack?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But when you get hit, you get knocked down a tier.
Okay.
It's one of those games. So like, and I think that's a really interesting mechanic, because I feel like it's a punishment when you first start, but then it rewards you for spending more time with the game. And then it kind of becomes more of like a memorizing patterns. And I don't always love that. It reminds me of Altered Beast on the Genesis. You just got to remember where they are. Otherwise you're going to get like taken out. Do you ever like, what's Jordan Hill's take on that kind of like thing? You ever played that in a game?
I used to play Altered Beast on my Sega handheld, in the back of my Dodge Grand Caravan minivan when I was a young boy.
You owned a Caravan minivan, wow.
Yes, my own personal Dodge Grand Caravan. The title's in my name.
You got a driver.
But no, and I remember playing that game, and I used to hate those games as a kid because it's such a huge difficulty spike. You have to remember so much. It almost seems like, why am I, this isn't fun.
Yeah.
This feels like school, this feels like work. But as an adult, I found that I do kind of like those challenges a little more.
Sometimes
where you have to come back and problem solve.
Yeah, a couple years ago, I went back to Altered Beast, and I still didn't beat it, but I got way farther than I ever did as a kid. And it is it can be rewarding to just like hone in on, like, try to remember all the little bits and pieces and try to make that perfect run. But yeah, you can find where it's like, there's a lot of games where if you make one mistake, it topples all of your power, and then you're toast. So I feel like we don't see that as much in gaming anymore, and I feel like it's maybe a good thing, but it is fun to go back to every now and then.
I'm not sure what else we can really say about Master Blaster version 3.00249.
What's going on with all these games adding 0 to the end? That's my final point.
That's a Tekken 7.0, Tekken 7 Faded Honors or whatever, and who knows. But what the hell have you been playing, gamers, huh?
Hold on.
Okay, I was like,
I have another funny. You're doing real good. But I wanted to say. All right.
I'm fucking sweating over here. Jesus Christ.
This will be a real natural cut. You're going to love this one. Conversion software version 7.0. Am I right?
Thanks for that. Great.
What does that mean? It's a System of a Down lyric.
Let's just cut that whole part.
Oh, that was funny.
Let's leave all this in. Let's leave it all in. All right.
He's not going to do that.
So gamers, what the hell have you been playing?
That's right, gamers. Jump in those gaming comments and let us know what you've been playing recently. And while you're at it, I see no good reason why you can't hit that like button, destroy the subscribe button, and even hit that crazy bell button. It helps us out and it helps you see more videos, so I'm not giving you an option here. Do it right now, and we'll see you in the next video.
Sorry I broke at the end.